Okay, and there we are live. Good day and welcome back to another episode of the Air Force podcast. My name is Yaku and today we've got Mohammed Cassim with us. Thanks a lot for being here, Mohammed. Thanks a lot for your time today. I'm really looking forward to talking to you.
Thank you, Yako. Thank you for having me. I'm also really looking forward to talking to you, and I think it's going to be an interesting discussion where we can motivate as many people as possible.
Okay, and let's start from the start. Where did you start? Where did you see this gap, I would say, in the market to go and motivate people, to help change people and really just to uplift them? Where did you start with that?
I don't think it was a gap in the market that I saw. I think it's been a build-up of my entire life. I'm in the fitness industry for about 22 years now. So that's always been my passion. I've always loved health and fitness. I've always wanted to look after myself. I think I was 8 years old when I saw a saying that said, if you don't make time for health in your young age, make time for illness in your old age. So it always stuck with me. And then I think the first 10 years, of course, as a trainer, all you want to do is get into shape and make people get into shape. And, it was always about the body, the body, the body. And as I went on, I realized something that the body will take shape. If you train consistently, the body will eventually take shape. But the mind, if you're not going to work on that, no matter what you do, the mind is going to be a big issue. So I started focusing a lot on the mind, reading up a lot about it, understanding what the mind is, understanding personality types, understanding people, because I deal with a lot of people on a daily basis. So understanding personality types, working on personalities, seeing my reactions to certain things, and then of course different difficulties through my life that have pushed me into ways of trying to pick myself up, because life will always knock you down. So it's about picking yourself up. And when I saw what it did for me and what it did for my clients, I wanted to share it with the world. I didn't just want to hold us back. I always believe that you get three types of people in this world. People that are like wells, where the well is filled with water, but it's closed off and nobody can gain access to that water, and the water being knowledge. And the second type is it's a well that the well is open, but you have to come to the well to get the water. Or there's the third type of person who's like the rain cloud and takes water everywhere. And we have such great platforms. We really need to share our knowledge with the world. It would be a sin on us if we gain this knowledge from someone that could benefit someone else, but we don't share it. So I'm so grateful to platforms like yours, which allows me to share it on a different scale now as well. And I mean, of course, with you sharing it out to the world as well, it's amazing.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thanks a lot for that as well. So you've now mentioned the three types of people that there are, and the one of them, as you said, that I think that is your kind of people is the rain cloud. How did you discover that? Okay, I'm not just going to keep it to myself. You said it was like it would be like a sin to keep everything for yourself and not to pay it forward. How did that start? How did you did it start only in the maybe in the gym, or how did you get to a platform where you can reach, I would say, hundreds of people and going onto stages to talk to people? How did that start?
So, in school, I was an introvert, believe it or not. I took part in not a single speech contest. I did not have the courage to do any of that. But then when I walked out on the sports field, it was a whole different ball game, literally. As I walked out onto the sports field, the leadership qualities came out in me. I could stand up in the change room and try and motivate everyone just to pick their game up, to be able to go out there, to be their best, to do their best. And it was always inside of me. I just never thought that I needed to take it out to the world. When you're younger, all you think about is your professional career as a sportsman, or your professional career in your career itself where you want to go to, but you don't think about sharing it with the world. But slowly, as time went on and as I went through my difficulties and I tried to help people going through their difficulties, and I also found that helping people going through their difficulties helped me go through mine. So I started sharing it with one or two people, and it helped them change their way in life. It helped me change my way in life. And people started telling me, listen, you have a gift in you, that you have the ability to motivate someone, to inspire someone, to encourage someone. Do not just limit it. And it just so happened, and the universe works in mysterious ways. It just so happened it was at this point that social media started taking off, and it gave us a platform to be able to speak this out to the world, to be able to share it with, starting with 10 people to 20 people to 100 to 1,000 to 5,000. It builds up like that. And when you start sharing it and you start receiving messages about how it is helping them, you don't want to stop sharing it. And just the same way that you found me, others had found me to come and speak at their events, to get up on stage and to speak to people. And initially I was nervous. I was very nervous when I got up onto stage. And I heard, I was listening to a podcast, and this guy spoke about it. And he said, if you have a message to give, there's nothing to be nervous about, because all you're going to do there is deliver a message. When you deliver the message, how you look, how nervous you were, what people thought about the way you spoke, none of that matters, because the message is what matters. And I felt that I had a message to deliver to the world, that in time that we are living in, that it's so difficult, it's economically difficult, it's our safety is at risk every single day, it's every single thing has become a difficulty in life. I wanted to find the positives in life, because I believe that the glass is not half empty and the glass is not half full. There's always something in the glass, no matter what. There'll be water on the one side, there'll be air on the other side, but we need to see it from that point of view.
Okay. Johan, that's actually a great way to look at things. As you said, that glass is always full of something, either air or water, and that's a difficult thing these days to look at something like that, because as you said, we're facing a lot of problems, poverty, a lot of crime. I think South Africa is one of the countries with the highest crime rates, highest unemployment rate. So uh, it is definitely tough. So what is your strategies to, I would say, to motivate people? How did you kind of resemble yourself with them? How do you get that connection, uh, that kind of mutual connection with people, so that they can say, okay, yes, I want to listen to this guy. He is what I need at this moment.
That's such a brilliant question, really. That is such an amazing question. The truth is, when people can understand that we are also coming from a place of emotion, I'm not susceptible to not having any emotions. Every single emotion will eventually hit someone. At some part of your life is going amazing here, and then completely on the other end, your life can be in complete turmoil. So what you see on the screen is not just someone who's always like this. So I allow people to understand that no matter what happens, life's going to knock you down. It's like climbing a mountain and you see the summit of the mountain and you know you're almost there, but then you slip on this rock and you go sliding right back down again. And that's life, right? You're always going to be sliding back down that mountain, but you got to get yourself up and you got to keep on going. So I let people understand that, you know what, I've been through a lot as well. I'm 42 years old now, and I've seen a lot in life. I've been through a lot in life. So I'm not just talking from a point of life's been easy and it's been a breeze for me. It's been difficult. There's been tough times. And when people understand that, they want to listen. They want to understand, how did you get out of it? How did you find your way out of it? And then I have one answer for them. There's only one word that changes everything. And that word is gratitude. Because in all honesty, you describe now, I mean, there's crime, there's corruption, there's load shedding, there's unemployment, there's so much going on. But let's just take a small little thing like your epiglottis, which sits here in your throat and it flaps closed every time you swallow something. So imagine if I had to take a sip of this water now and it didn't close. It would go into my air pipe and it would flood my lungs up and I would die. So when we talk gratitude, let's not talk about all these things around us. Yeah, I mean, we all want nice things and we all love beautiful things. But let's talk about just ourselves internally. If the epiglottis didn't close, you choke to death on every morsel of food. So then isn't that something to be grateful for? You know, take a loaf of bread. What is your relationship to a loaf of bread? It is taking it off the shelf, eating it with your food into your mouth, and it stops right there in the back of your throat. That's it. That's your relationship with that bread. Did you plant the seeds? Did you harvest it? Did you put the ingredients together? Did you package it? Did you deliver it? Did you pack it on the shelves? No. You just took it from the shelf. You took it to your house and you ate it and it stopped there. When you went inside there, did you push it down your esophagus or into your stomach? Or did you allow the digestive enzymes to break it up and then distribute it to the different molecules to go to different parts of your body? Did you do that? No. Did it go to your nails? Did you put it to your nails or to your hair follicles or to your toes? And then whatever your body didn't need, did you get rid of that? Because we didn't. So isn't there a lot to be grateful for? Just in that one moment of just, let's talk about swallowing something. Just in that moment, your epiglottis closed. It went down your esophagus and you got benefit from it. But your relationship was only taking it from that shelf to your house. That was it. So when I talk gratitude, I don't just talk about the material things in life that we are. We should be grateful for those as well. I mean, COVID is a perfect example. What was everyone looking for during COVID? They were looking for oxygen. Oxygen was at its most expensive. Something in the region of maybe 100 rand a liter or 200 rand a liter. I'm not exactly sure. But you do the math with me now, and our listeners can do the math with us as well. If it was 100 rand a liter, and the average human being consumes about 11,000 liters of air a day, which is maybe 5,000 liters of oxygen a day, and there are 8 billion people in the world, and everyone gets it for free, then how lucky are we? So that's gratitude. This is what I mean when I say gratitude. I don't just mean surface level gratitude. I don't mean we're grateful that our phones are fully charged or we're grateful that there's no load shedding right now. No, yes, those are small things to be grateful for. Let's look at the bigger scheme of things. Let's understand that when we talk gratitude, we really mean it from an internal point of view.
Yes, okay. Yeah, that is already motivating me. That's already changing my mindset about a lot of things because a lot of times people miss out on that kind of things, on the small things, the things that, as you said, they just take for granted to breathe, to to be able to walk, to go to school, to go to work. So a lot of times people just take that for granted to be able to do those things, uh, and yeah, we don't usually appreciate it because when you have to go to school, you moan. When you have to go to work, you moan about that. When you have to do something, you moan. But there's a lot of people that are not able to do that, and I think that there is also where a lot of people miss the point. They miss that kind of, as you said, the gratitude, the part that they should be grateful for. So yeah, definitely.
And
Okay.
that is how I try to connect with people, just to allow them to connect with themselves. So your question was, how do I do it? Yes, I want them to connect with themselves first. And if they connect with me, with themselves, sorry, they'll be able to connect with me and they'll be able to resonate with exactly what I'm saying to them. So that is why I do what I do, and that is how I do what I do.
Okay. Yeah. Um, And also, okay, you've also mentioned, I want to go back to the well story that a lot of
Mm.
people keep the things to themselves. Like they don't take it out to the world. They don't want to share it with other people, maybe only the people around them, their friends, their relatives. Why do you think that's the case?
I can't give you a reason why. I think a lot of people find that if they do share, um, the best way to put this to you is we were born to give. So when you're a kid, you're always sharing your things with everyone, right? But we were educated for greed. We're educated to believe that everything is limited. So today, if you want to go and watch the rugby, it's going to be limited. If you the seats are going to be limited. There's a limited amount of space in a specific place. So all our mind has been set is to limitations. But we forgot about love and we forgot about energies. Those things are limitless. Like we can give off all of those things, but because we've been educated to keep everything to ourselves because we feel that it's going to be diminished if we give it to the world, some of us tend to hold it back. I don't want to be judgmental of anyone, so
Mm,
I'm not saying that everyone is doing that. But I do feel that a lot of people feel that they need to keep it to themselves because only they need to benefit from it. And of course, that mindset it's not a good mindset to have because the truth is whatever you give will always be yours, but whatever you keep will never be yours. And I think people need to understand that concept, that giving actually increases what you have. That's the first point. The second point someone would argue and say is, but I don't have the courage to speak out and I don't have the courage to share my education with anyone or my knowledge with anyone. Les Brown, I'm sure you've heard of Les Brown, the motivational speaker. He often speaks about the graveyard being the richest place in the world. Not any of these countries in that. He speaks about the graveyard. He says that in the graveyard, there were ideas that were never brought to life. There were books that were never written. There was knowledge that was never shared, or businesses that were never started, all because people were fearful of what others would say. So don't make the graveyard the richest place in the world. Like share it with the world, because the truth is we're all going to go to the grave at some point. That is our final destination. We are all headed there. And if you're not going to share it with the world, then what use are you to the world that you are currently living in?
Okay, yeah, and I saw a video of you where you talked about the graveyard and the dates on the graveyard. Um,
Yes.
the day you were born and the day you died. And you've talked about that little dash in the middle, and that is where we are living now. How would you say that we should get motivated in order to get that dashboard? I would say to stretch it longer, to get it better, to make the dashboard stand out and not the two dates on the two ends.
Bottom line is, if you are not making someone else's life better, then what are you really doing? So if you want to make that dash last longer, create an impact in people's lives so that even when you are in that grave, they still talk about you. You have still helped them. And your legacy lives on through their grandchildren, great grandchildren, great great grandchildren who might never have ever heard of you or will ever hear of you. But what you've done is you've created such a legacy in someone's mind that it changed their entire lineage going forward.
Okay. And how do you think people should do that? Obviously, by not keeping things to themselves, but how should you like have that impact on someone? Have someone change their mind, or uh, just get somebody out of bed in the morning, just so that they can start doing something, start pursuing their dreams, or just go to work a bit more motivated, or doing a task a bit better or more motivated, and not just rumbling it off, not just getting it away.
You know, Michael Jackson in his song "Man in the Mirror" said, "If you want to make a change, start with the man in the mirror." And I think that's the most important one. So, how do you get people to help someone else? Help yourself first. I often talk about a prospector back in the day was someone who'd look for gold and find gold and go and sell it. Become an intra prospector. Look inside yourself, find your gold within yourself, and then go out there and share it with the world. Because if you don't know who you are and if your cup is empty, you can never fill someone else's cup. So if you want to help people, look inside yourself first. Look where your flaws are. We all have flaws. We all have vices. We all have bad thoughts. We all have things that we are doing wrong. Admit it to yourself first. Look inside. How do I fix it? This, they say that if you want to know a person, look at their 5 closest friends and you'll be able to tell who that person is. Today we're living in such an age where our 5 closest friends can be the most amazing people on YouTube, because we can hear them every single day and they can help us every day. So go and find these people. It's out there. The knowledge is out there. We have the an incredible tool in front of us. And you know what? Yes, a lot of us use it for the wrong, but maybe start using it for the right. Maybe start using it for the right, because if you use it for the right, you'll be able to fix yourself up. When you heal yourself, you'll attract others. I always believe broken attracts broken. So if you are broken, you'll continue to attract broken people, and broken people don't want to be helped. But if you heal yourself, then you'll attract healed people, or people who want to be healed. And that's where you make a difference in life. So you have to fix yourself up first. It all starts internal and then only works its way out external. We are all energies, and our energies are all interconnected. If you sit with someone who's down and depressed, you're bound to feel down and depressed. But if you sit with someone who's uplifting and motivating, then all of a sudden you walk out of there not knowing why you felt the way you felt. You walk into a gym, you can be low. But the minute you're done training, all of a sudden you feel good. Why? Because everyone's energy was high. Everyone's dopamine levels were quite high. The endorphins were high. And that's the beauty of it. Sit around with people who are willing to lift you up. Don't sit with those trying to hold you down. Stay away from toxic people. Build yourself up. Even if you have to just pull yourself away for a little bit, just to build yourself up. Sometimes it's the best thing to do. Sometimes it really is the best. I think there was a point in my life where for about 4 years I pulled myself away from everything, just so that I could understand who I was, so that I could build myself up. And then when that happens, watch how you attract beauty towards you. Really watch how you attract it.
Okay. And you've now mentioned being a prospector, a gold prospector, but you have to do it in yourself. Now, there's a lot of people out there that is negative, and that they say that they don't have anything. They don't have anything to give. They don't have that piece of gold in them. But what would you say to that people? How would you turn their mind into saying that everybody is special? What would you say?
There are a lot of negative people out there, and like I said, we are filled with negativity in this world. And Newton's law of motion states an object will remain in motion until acted upon by an opposing force. So in my mind, negativity will remain in motion until you put positivity in front of it, and positivity will remain in motion until you put negativity in front of it. So if you want one to remain in motion, let it go without putting something in front of it. So let's go with positive people first. If you are positive, watch how everything in life is just positive and looks positive until all of a sudden you put a negative thought in front of it, and then it stops immediately. Whereas with negative people, they are negative constantly and they find it hard to find that positive thought to put in front of them. And that's where gratitude again comes in. So find that your negativity is there. You know you are down, you know where you are low. You have already started in the process of identifying what's wrong. You are negative. So you've identified what's wrong. Now that you've identified what's wrong, let's find a solution to it. Because if something's wrong in your car, you'll take it to the mechanic and you'll fix that problem up. In the same way, if something is wrong within you, let's find the solution for it. So now what do I have to be positive for? Let's rewind back a few minutes ago where we spoke about the epiglottis, or we spoke about the air we breathe, or we spoke about being able to just digest our food. So now all of a sudden you have something to be grateful for, and you have something inside of you. So you think you might not have gold, but it's covered in a lot of dirt right now. We just need to get rid of that dirt. You have gold in you. Everyone was born here with a purpose, with a reason, with a special gift to share with the world. So for 1 second, do not think that you are not a miracle, because you truly are a miracle. Just being here at this time, in this day and age, is a miracle on its own. And in truth, in 100 years from now, we're all going to be dead. We're all going to be buried. We're all not going to be remembered, even by our family. Our great grandkids will never know our name, even. So make the difference in your life. Make the difference to who you are. Make the difference internally and say to yourself, you know what? It's okay that I'm negative right now, but I'm going to change it. And things will go down. Remember, things are going to go down before they come up. But when they come up, oh boy, like it shoots through the roof and you'll mess up. Look, change is not something that's permanent. Like you will mess up. You will revert back to the old you. It's because the way we're wired. Don't be hard on yourself. You know what? You make mistakes. It's about picking yourself up. Rocky Balboa said it, right? He said it ain't about life ain't about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you can hit and keep moving forward. How much you can pick yourself up and keep moving forward. It's gonna knock you down. Lift yourself up. It's gonna knock you down. Lift yourself up again. It's the ones who stay down that lose. But if you keep picking yourself up, you will always, always win, right till the end. So look inside you, find the positivity in you. Everyone has it. Every single one of us has it. And I don't want anyone here to come and tell me I have nothing to be positive about. Because all you need to do is take a sip of water and know that you have something to be grateful for.
Okay. Yeah, that is truly motivating. Okay. Now, now I want to ask you, when you are down in the dumps, you've reached your low. How do you get that motivation? How do you dig inside yourself? How do you get that out there to say, okay, this is the last hit I'm going to take. I'm going to stand up now. I'm going to get moving forward. I'm going to stand up. The next punches they can come. I'm going to keep moving forward, even at your lowest point. How do you do that? How do
Uh,
you dig deep?
the deeper the foundation, the bigger the house. So the lower you go, the more rock bottom you hit, the deeper your foundation is being built. And then you have to physically say, you know what, I am here in this world. I'm not going anywhere. What if I live till I'm 90? Do I want to be this depressed my entire life? I have to pick myself up, not for anybody else, but just for myself, because I am worthy of being picked up. I am worthy of being something absolutely amazing. So I look at myself in the mirror and I say to myself, I cannot have negative thoughts. I have them, not to say I don't. Please don't get me wrong. I am not this positive person all the time. I'm down a lot of the time. But like I said to you, that's life. I'm down a lot of the time, but I have to pick myself up. Not because I want to show the world that I'm an amazing person who's always motivated, but I cannot be this person if I don't pick myself up. And you are not going to be able to do anything with your life if you are not going to pick yourself up. Yako, if you wake up in the morning and you're feeling depressed and you feel like, you know what, I don't want to start this day, who's the only one who's going to lose out? Who's the only
It's
one who's
only,
going to be down?
it's only yourself that's going to lose out, to
You
be
know, there
honest.
was a book, well, 4 books that were written about the rules of success, and each book had 250 rules in it. So there were 1,000 rules of success. And when they asked the author, which one is the most important of the lot? And he said, all 999 are obsolete without this one. Do what you have to do with what you have, whether you feel like it or not. And if you want to be successful in life, know that you have to do it. You know, I'm going to go to the gym. Simon Sinek spoke about this, and he says, you know, you go to the gym, you go for one day, and you come home and you look in the mirror. Are you going to see a change? No way, right? And you go for 1 week, still not going to see a change. Probably 1 year, you might slowly start seeing a change. Where does the change come from? It comes from consistency. So, you know what? If I go for 5 years to the gym, if I miss a few days here or there, no problem. I can pick it up again and I can go again. If I eat the chocolate here or there, no problem. I can pick it up, I can go again. But I'm seeing a difference because I'm consistent in what I'm doing. So, on a daily basis, if you consistently pick yourself up, you're allowed to have those down days. You're allowed to mess up a bit. You're allowed to have a bit of a low moment because you know you're going to pick yourself up. But it all starts from consistency, and consistency starts from the first step.
You've mentioned that there's a lot of people out there that is spreading messages. You've mentioned you can go on YouTube and have those 5 friends probably can be on YouTube, some kind of influencer on Instagram or somewhere. How should we approach what we take in, that we don't take negative things in? Because even those people that try to motivate you, that uh, try to help people, that is influencing people, also have bad traits. And a lot of times people will pick up on the bad traits as well. How do we manage, how should we manage that in order to stay positive and to stay consistent, as you just said?
Yeah, there's a lot of information out there, and that's brilliant the way you put it, because there's a lot of information out there, and we can get this information overload where it starts actually making people argumentative because people feel, I heard this on the internet, so it's the right way of doing things. And then you become a negative person in that light. And once again, it goes into introspecting, because if you understand that specific things are negative and specific things are actually not in conjunction with who you are as a person, then you should stay away from it. I always believe I listen to a talk or to a podcast, and on average 1 hour a podcast. You can't take everything from there. You need to know who you are. You need to take what you want to from there and leave the rest behind, because the person talking about it, Yako, yourself, myself, we're not perfect individuals. We have flaws, we have faults. So everything that comes out of our mouth cannot be perfect for the next individual. So take what you want from it and leave the rest. Stop looking at the negativity. Take one positive thing, implement it in your life, consistently act on it, and then it will change. But if you're going into a message only looking for, okay, I need to learn this so that I can argue this point to someone else, then already you're going in with a negative mindset. You're not going into what can I learn so that I can become a better version of myself. So arguing with somebody actually doesn't make you a better version of yourself. Staying silent, knowing that you are learning, working on yourself, and letting someone else do all the arguing, that will make you a better version of yourself. You know, silence is golden. I had no idea what that rule meant when I saw it written up at the school. I just always thought they wanted us to be quiet. But in truth, in reality, silence is golden. And if you're looking for that gold, sometimes you just need to keep your mouth shut and find it within you.
Okay. And I actually want to take I don't want to say an opposing view on that, but um, sometimes people should not stay quiet about a lot of things. How should we balance between what we should say and what we should not say, and what we should take and what we should not take? You now mentioned the negatives, but how should we balance that as well?
I think in life, again, it boils down to you as an individual, right? If it
Mm,
benefits you, take it. If it doesn't benefit you, let it go. And when it comes to silence, if you know that you are going to be talking from a place of unnecessary emotion and wasting unnecessary energy, keep quiet. But if you need to set boundaries and if you need to defend yourself in a specific, intellectual, intelligent way, then of course, no, please, by all means, you cannot
mm,
keep quiet with that. Don't get me wrong. When I say silence is golden, always keep quiet. I'm talking about getting involved in conversations that are not beneficial to you, whether it's your boundaries that are being set or whether it's your intellect that's being increased by the conversation. Or are you then going into a fool's mindset where you're arguing with a fool about something that just makes no difference to life? So ask yourself a question: will this conversation benefit me in 5 years? And if it benefits you in 5 years, have the conversation. It's brilliant. But if the conversation's not going to benefit you 5 days later, what's the use of wasting your energy on it, in all honesty?
mm.
So that's the way I look at it when I do say silence is golden. I mean in specific
Yeah.
stuff. So thanks for clarifying that up. I love that.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Now, now the next question is, how should we know that if something is going to be beneficial for us, that the information that we take in is going to be beneficial for us? Um, how should we filter out that?
Trial and error. So it's not instantly you're going to know,
There's
oh,
no
this was beneficial
rule.
for me. Take it in, use it in your daily life. If it's not working for you, okay, let it go. You know, reading and listening to podcasts, and it's sort of like eating. So if I had to say, Yako, 2 weeks ago, what did you eat on Tuesday? You
Sure,
won't
I don't know.
remember, right? Same thing with reading and listening to this podcast. You might not remember everything, but it will be beneficial for you in the long run. Something will be
Yeah.
beneficial. Something will give you nutrients in your mind that you didn't have. So sometimes you take something, you implement it, and it's actually not good for you. But something else that you forgot about starts then festering in your mind because of that. And that might be beneficial for you. So trial and error. Look, this journey of mine, I can tell you, I've been on this mindset journey for 10 to 15 years now, and I might not even be 20% of where I want to be yet. And that's the amazing thing about it. And that's the beauty of it. You know, there was a story of a guy, one of the great scholars over 1,000 years ago. And he was walking around with his ink pot and his feather, and he was around 80 or 90 years old, so towards the end of his life. And one of the guys saw him and said to him, "You've written so many books, like you've helped so many people around. So please tell me, why are you still moving around with this ink pen, this this ink bottle?" And he says, "With the ink pot to the grave, with the ink pot to the grave." And what he means by that is, no matter what you do, try and learn something. Try and always learn something. Because if you out there always trying to learn something, then you always like you're literally making yourself a better person. But not everything you learn is going to be beneficial, like you're saying. And you'll learn that as you go along. You become wiser. You know, there's a huge difference between education, knowledge, and wisdom. Those three. Education is what people want to teach us in schools, in universities, and it has its place. It's very beneficial if you want to have a career. Then there's knowledge, and like we spoke about this, tons of it out there, and we have information overload at the moment. But wisdom is knowing to take what from which part and make you a great individual. So become a wise individual by looking at things, understanding what is beneficial to you, looking around you. You might even just look at two animals and you'll be able to learn something from them and to be able to understand. I mean, just yesterday I was thinking about it now with it being spring and talking about the seasons. Um, the bees are around and the pollen is around and the bees are going around and getting their nectar and they're creating honey, and like we benefit from honey so much, and it's such an amazing little creature, the bee. And if you look at it and you think to yourself, I mean, such a small little creature, surely we are more intelligent than the bee, right? But the bee knows, if someone is troubling me and someone's arguing with me, if I retaliate, I'm going to die. So it tries to avoid it as much as possible. So it just focuses on what it needs to do, collects all the nectar, pollinates where it needs to pollinate, and then goes back home, makes it honey, and makes this most amazing gold, because that's the color of honey, and makes it absolutely amazing, and does its job consistently on a daily basis. A bee doesn't say, I'm not in the mood today. Or a bee doesn't say, I want to pick a fight with someone today. The only time a bee will actually do that is when its life is in danger. Our life is not in danger, yet we feel the need to sting everybody that comes our way. And just know that a little part of you dies every time that you do that. So be very careful. Like, we can learn things from nature around us. So take a little thing like a bee and just take a lesson out of it.
Okay. And you've mentioned now that you're on your journey to where you want to be. You're only 20% there. And I know that is just metaphorically speaking, but um, how would you say should people approach? I don't say give them advice on what they should do, but approach on how to. I don't want to use the word successful, but to be more the person that they want to be. Because as you said, you can never be complete. You can never it can never be reached actually, and a lot of times that gives people this kind of negative output that what they want cannot be achieved, that they cannot reach that, but they should always aspire to get there. They should always work hard to be that perfect kind of person. So what kind of advice would you give to those people and to people that are on this journey and they actually, so they find that they cannot reach it, but they're still trying, but they get demotivated. So that and then they just give up. That and but they try to get better, and then they say, okay, it can never be complete. It can never be perfect. So what would you say? How would you approach that?
Number one, it's never going to be complete. It will never be perfect. So you need to get that misconception out of your mind that it's going to be perfect, that it's going to be complete, that there's never going to be another tough day in my life, because there's going to be many tough days in your life. So if you can understand that from the onset when you start this journey, it's brilliant. Secondly, slow progress is better than no progress. And let's use the gym as an analogy. You come to the gym and you walk for 5 minutes on the treadmill. It's 5 minutes more than you've ever walked before. So no problem. You've done something amazing. So now continue to do it, because that 5 will become 10, that 10 will become 20, that 20 will become 30. Your body will get stronger. You will start losing weight. You will start becoming consistent. And even if you have those down days, like we spoke about earlier, it's okay, because the consistency keeps you going back and keeps you going back. Life's the same. So you think to yourself, I'm never going to get there. Come, I ask you, you look like you're a guy who's physically fit. Is there a perfect body? Can it be achieved? No,
There's no,
no.
yeah,
There's a joke that says the day you start lifting weights is the day you'll forever be small,
yeah.
because you'll never be big enough, right? The mind is the same. The day you start working on it, you'll understand you'll never have enough. But it's not about having enough. It's just about trying to better yourself. I have a motto. The one motto I have in my life is, I want to be embarrassed of the person I was a year ago. Mentally, physically, spiritually. I want to be embarrassed of the person I was a year ago. And a lot of times I look back to myself a year ago and I am embarrassed of that person. And then I'm proud that I am embarrassed of that person, because that means I've grown as an individual. But Muhammad Ali said that if you, the same person at 50 that you were at 30, you've wasted 20 years of your life. So why wait that long to realize that you've wasted so much of your life? Set a goal. Be embarrassed of the person you were a year ago. And then work on it. Work on your fitness, work on your mindset, work on your spirituality, work on your knowledge. Think to yourself, geez, a year ago I knew nothing. And today I know this. And all it takes is 1 page a day of something. That's all it takes. 1 page a day gives you 365 pages. So even if you read one book in a year, it's one book more than you read last year. And even if you listen to one podcast a month, it's 12 podcasts more than you did last year. And tell me you cannot, there is no way that you will not benefit from it. There is no way that you as an individual will not see some sort of a benefit, because slow progress is better than no progress at all.
Okay. Okay, well, that's great. And then I want to talk about another part, and that's the thing that I saw on some of your videos as well, and that is addiction. And a lot of people are addicted to a lot of things. Would it be alcohol? Would it be even social media scrolling? A lot of people say they cannot go a day without doing that. Um, so what is your approach on that? What should people do in order to say, okay, as you said, we have a problem. this is the steps I'm going to take. Um, any addiction that they are, and how is that formed? So let's start with how the addiction is formed, and then what we can do about that.
So, first of all, addictions are formed because of a chemical in our brain called dopamine. Dopamine basically gets released anytime we do something that makes us feel good. The difference with addictions to other dopamine releases is that if your dopamine level is on zero as a base level, food will give it up to 100%, so it'll make you feel 100% better. And then getting likes in that on Instagram will take it up to 200%. Sex gets up to about 250%, but things like drugs, cocaine, they take it up to about 800%. Porn takes it up to about 600%. So you can see the gap between normal everyday activities and these addictions. So you can understand why people get so grasped into it. So what happens psychologically is anytime you feel down and depressed, you feel that you need some sort of a pick me up, and your mind tells you, well, go to this, because if you go to that, it made me feel good the last time, so I need it again. So that's how addiction starts. So there's this continuous need. It's usually to fill some sort of a void, some sort of numbness within you. It's usually to fill all of that. You need to find out what your void is. You need to find out what your numbness is. And of course, that leads back to doing the work on yourself. But then you get into the addiction. Now you identify the addiction. You're working on it. There will be moments where you will relapse. There will be moments where you can be working 10 years on something and you have a weak moment. But the whole idea is don't ever be too hard on yourself. It's not you. The brain is wired for comfort. The brain is wired for survival. So anything that's going to make you feel good, the brain wants to do that. It's actually fighting against you sometimes. So we need to understand that we need to fight off those urges. But if we do get it, know that you messed up. Take responsibility for it. And then pick yourself up again and say, okay, day one again. Let me start again. And this is again climbing that mountain that we spoke about. You're climbing, you see the summit, you're right there. And then boom, you're going to slip down because life's going to do that to you. There is not a single person, I don't care how successful they are, how wealthy they are, I don't care about any of that, that is not going through some sort of trial or tribulation in their life, whether it's internal or external. The external might be flashy, but the internal, there's anxiety, there is depression, there is chaos going inside, there is uneasiness in the heart, there is uneasiness of the mind. Everyone is going through something. Everyone is having a difficult moment. How we channel our energy, that's what creates our addictions. So you need to understand that it's not coming there because you are a bad person. You're not a bad person. You are just looking for ways to make yourself feel good. And you found a way. Unfortunately, it was the wrong way. You found it, and your mind now knows what it is to get up to that level. It continuously wants to get up to that level. But the beauty of the mind is there's a thing called neuroplasticity. So the mind can be remolded, like plastic can be remolded. It takes time. You need to heat it up. You need to melt it, mold it, and get a new mold. Same thing with neuroplasticity. What happens is we can rewire our minds. So certain things that numbed us, we know what it is. We find out what it is. Now we know when this happens and I get triggered, this is what I normally do. Okay. Now when this happens and I get triggered, I'm going to try this way to get to my dopamine release. This way being the healthy way, we get to the dopamine release. This way being the unhealthy way, you still get. So your trigger will always be the same. Your reward will always be the same. Your action, that's where the addictions come in. So you need to find other actions that make you feel good as well in those moments. Let's take cigarette as an example. I'm stressed out, smoke a cigarette, I feel good. That's the trigger, that's the action, that's the reward. Okay, I'm stressed out, I go for a small walk, I feel good. Which one's more beneficial for you? So now we're looking at there is actions that can be just as beneficial as the others. Cravings last for 10 minutes. Scientifically proven, a craving can only last for 10 minutes. So if you can get through the 10-minute spell of that craving, you'll be able to push yourself on. And you start rewiring your brain to say, that pathway that made me go this way, I need to shut it off. And I need to shut it off now. So yeah, addictions are huge. Social media, massive addiction. I actually caught myself the other day. I didn't realize it, but it's just on my phone constantly. and I was made aware of it. And I didn't realize that actually my addiction was taking over me. My addiction to pull my phone out constantly and just scroll through the phone all the time, it was taking over me. I had to be made aware of it, and now I'm conscious about it. Now I have to be conscious. You know what? Don't take my phone with me to the bathroom, or when I'm laying in bed, leave my phone on the table one side. Why? Because my mind is just so programmed to pick it up and have a look at it. We have been so programmed that way. But the beauty is, if we've been programmed that way in such a short space of time, don't you think we can reprogram ourselves? And that's what we need to do when it comes to addictions, reprogram ourselves.
Okay. And you've mentioned now the healthy way and the bad way, but um the I would say the bad way is always instant. There's this instant gratification. You can just take out your phone and you can scroll. You can just take the cigarette. You can just grab a bottle of something. But to go on a walk, it takes minutes. To go to the gym, it takes time. How should we approach that? How should we say, okay, let's get past through those 10 minutes. Let's um go on a walk. Let's just take a few minutes away from work and uh, just those extra bit of time. How should we manage that?
So, like I said, the heat needs to be put there to be able to change the plastic, to change the molding of the plastic, right? The heat is consistency. Consistency is understanding that things are not instant gratification. We have been brought up to think that everything is instant. I mean, we want food, it's fast foods. We want Instagram, it's instant. Everything is instant. You know, back in the day, you had to take a photo and then take that little spool and then take it to the to the Photoshop and let them develop it for you. And we didn't mind waiting. But now we can take 100 photos and choose the one we want and put filters and put all. We've been wired into thinking everything needs to be now and now and now. So teach yourself delayed gratification. Teach yourself that. Are you hungry right now? Wait 10 more minutes. Just wait. Teach your brain to wait. Teach everything inside of you. Teach it to wait. Teach yourself patience. You know, we speak about gratitude, but let me tell you about patience. Patience is the vehicle. It's that car that will take you to the destination of gratitude. So if you want to really find it, be patient. And in patience, you'll understand that instant gratification benefits no one. It benefits no one, not yourself, not those around you, no one. There is nothing that is instant that is worth it. Because human nature, we are designed to think that if something was given to us instantly, we weren't worth it. We didn't earn it. So take lotto winners as an example. Why are so many lotto winners bankrupt within the first year? Because internally they know they didn't earn it. It wasn't theirs. So it was instant wealth, which instantly got finished. So understand, delayed gratification builds you up to be a better human being. It builds you up to understand things because you create patience within you. When you have patience, you don't get angry, you don't get worked up, nothing phases you because you're a patient individual. Patience then leads to gratitude. Gratitude then makes you understand that whatever I have, I really am lucky to have it, which then turns you into a positive person. When you're a positive person, the mindset changes. When the mindset changes, you attract other people towards you. When you attract them towards you, everyone around you is positive and everyone around you is happy. And all of a sudden, life looks very different.
I think I need to stop the recording here because I think it is on a very positive, very high
Yeah.
note. But before I stop the recording, please just tell me where can people find you? Where can they reach out to you? Like when they get in contact with you?
The main place to find me is Instagram. You'll get me on Motivation SA. That's Motivation SA. All my videos are on there. You can DM me on there. I will respond to them as soon as I can. Um, all the information that you need is on there as well. So I think, yeah, if there's one platform that you can get me on, it is Instagram. It is the best way to get hold of me.
Mo, what is this Vision RSA that you're launching or have launched now?
So it's a website called buildrsa.co.za. The amazing thing about this platform is it's sort of like a Twitter-based platform for South African citizens to share our vision of what we want South Africa to be. So we all know what we have in our country. It's a beautiful country and we all love our country to bits. So share your visions on there and it can be taken up. We can chat with other people who have the same mindset of changing South Africa. And of course, the more hits we get on these specific topics, we can take it up to higher places and really create a movement that can hopefully change South Africa. Because as the developer, Dr. Sifiso Falala, spoke about, he said that as youngsters, when we look up, we just see dark clouds at the moment above us. But we want to be the type of people that splits these clouds open and we can see the stars, because we really want to see the stars of this beautiful country. So log on to buildrsa.co.za, get a username and password, and join the community, because it's going to be an incredible community that's going to change South Africa. And there's no doubt about that.
Okay, great. Okay, perfect. Perfect.